pause for a second, because what you are about to hear could change how you see love, fate, and the hidden forces moving through your life. Have you ever felt that someone you never truly met still shaped your path in some strange way? Have you ever asked yourself why some heartbreaks actually saved you, why sudden endings made you stronger, or why life pushed you in a direction you never planned to take? Most people call these moments random. They say it was luck, bad timing, or simple chance. But what if it was not random at all? What if the deepest act of love has been happening in silence, far beyond what you can see, hidden inside the deepest part of your own mind? Imagine finding out that while you thought you were walking alone, an unseen process was quietly preparing both you and the person meant for you, shaping each step until the meeting could happen at the right time. Not through magic, not through fantasy, but through the slow and quiet change of the human soul. What if every painful lesson, every lonely night, every shut door, and every delay was never there to destroy you, but to build you into the person you needed to become? Stay with me, because this idea goes deeper than it first appears. Today we are exploring the possibility that your future partner has been doing something powerful for you without even knowing it. And once you truly understand this, you may never look at your past, your present, or your future in the same way again. Most people think love has to be loud. They expect big confessions, endless messages, dramatic signs, and clear proof that someone cares. But the deepest kind of love does not always arrive with noise. Very often, it lives in silence. It hides inside ordinary moments that seem small at first, then later reveal how much they changed your life. What if the strongest expression of love was never something you could see with your eyes? What if it has always been woven into your growth, quietly shaping you while you were busy looking for visible signs? Some acts of love leave no photos, no letters, no witnesses. They are invisible, yet they carry a quiet force that can transform a life without asking for credit. The mind wants proof because proof feels safe. We want to know someone is choosing us, thinking of us, caring for us. But the deeper mind speaks another language. It moves through patience, not pressure, through presence, not performance, through subtle influence, not grand display. Sometimes the greatest gift another person can unknowingly give you is not their nearness, but the space that helps you become stronger on your own. What feels like distance may actually be preparation. What feels like silence may be making room for self-discovery. Every challenge that taught you strength, every disappointment that taught you respect, and every lonely season that pushed you to know yourself more deeply may have carried a hidden purpose. And this is where it starts to change everything, because mature love is not always about comfort. Sometimes it quietly protects the very conditions that allow you to become whole. Love, in its strongest form, does not ask to control you. It does not rush in just to calm your fear. It respects the slow rhythm of inner growth, because real connection cannot fully bloom between two people who have never learned how to stand on their own. Invisible love often shows itself through timing. A relationship that never happened when you wanted it most may have kept you from becoming emotionally dependent. A delayed meeting may have given both of you time to grow. An ending you hated may have removed the distraction that kept you from becoming yourself. In the moment, these things feel unfair, they feel cold, they feel like loss. But, with enough distance, many of them begin to look like turning points. The hidden mind has a strange power. It can guide a person toward the very experiences that shape character, even when the conscious mind fights against them. The deepest changes rarely happen when life is easy. They show up in uncertainty, they wake up in pain. They rise when comfort disappears, and hidden strength has no choice but to come forward. This kind of quiet love does not always feel pleasant in the present, because its purpose is not instant pleasure. Its purpose is lasting wholeness. It pushes you toward courage instead of dependence, wisdom instead of illusion, truth instead of pretending. Keep listening, because the next idea may change how you view every delay you ever suffered. One day, when you look back at the road behind you, you may realize the greatest signs of love were never the obvious ones. They were the unseen moments that slowly shaped your heart and prepared you to recognize a connection only after you became ready for it. There are moments in life that logic alone cannot fully explain. Suddenly you feel the need to change direction, leave a relationship, begin again, or follow a dream that has been quietly waiting inside you for years. Nothing dramatic happens outside, yet something deep within starts to move. It feels like some hidden part of you already knows what your thinking mind has not discovered yet. This silent layer of the self works beyond daily awareness. It collects memories, feelings, patterns, and lessons, then quietly shapes your choices long before you can explain them. It is here, in this unseen inner world, that deep human connection often begins. A true bond is not just about attraction or common interests. It begins much deeper, where two people are unknowingly being prepared through separate journeys of change. While your daily mind worries about work, fear, plans, and pressure, your inner life keeps evolving. Every difficulty you survive builds a strength you did not know you had. Every disappointment removes an illusion you no longer need. Every painful experience changes how you understand trust, love, and identity. Somewhere else, another person may be living a very different life and still going through a strangely similar inner process. Neither of you needs to know the other exists for this parallel growth to happen. This is not because some force is controlling every detail of your destiny. It is because emotional growth often follows similar human patterns. People learn compassion after pain, confidence after failure, wisdom after confusion. The hidden mind stores each lesson, then slowly changes the way you respond to life, until one day you realize you are no longer the person you used to be. You stop chasing approval the way you once did. You become less interested in people who only fill empty space and more drawn to those who help growth happen. That shift does not happen overnight. It comes slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. Then one day you notice your standards are different, your priorities are different, and your emotional reactions have changed. What once looked exciting no longer feels meaningful, because your inner world has moved. The deeper bond between two people is often found in this shared evolution, not in dramatic signs or endless thoughts about each other. It is the slow process of becoming ready without knowing you are being prepared. Many people think love begins when two strangers meet, but deep relationships often begin long before the first hello. They begin in the quiet choices made on lonely nights, in the courage built after heartbreak, in the patience learned through waiting, in the self-respect created when you choose growth over quick comfort. Every small hidden change shapes who you become. And when two people who have walked these separate paths finally cross, the connection can feel strangely natural, almost familiar, because both have already done important inner work. The hidden mind has been guiding each person toward greater truth, making the meeting feel less like random chance and more like recognition. Recognition of qualities both people have slowly built within themselves over time. And if that sounds simple, look closer, because it may explain why some people enter your life too early, why others leave, and why the right connection often appears only after you stop begging life to hurry. That is not punishment. It may be protection in a form you did not understand yet. One of the hardest truths to accept is that distance is not always rejection. When someone is missing from our life, we often assume nothing important is happening. We read silence as lack of care, separation as abandonment, and delay as failure. But some of the deepest forms of protection arrive wearing the face of distance. There are times when two people simply are not ready to meet. Not because the bond lacks potential, but because both still need to become who they must be. What feels like a painful delay may actually be saving something more valuable than instant satisfaction. Growth cannot be rushed. Real connection cannot thrive when it is built on fear, insecurity, or the hope that another person will complete what has not been built within you. This is why quiet protection can show up in surprising ways. A relationship that never started may have saved you from being trapped inside an older version of yourself that still depended on outside approval. A talk that never happened may have prevented confusion caused by emotional immaturity. A separation that broke your heart may have created the space needed for both of you to face the parts of yourselves that could no longer stay hidden. People often believe every closed door is pure loss, but sometimes a closed door is life refusing to let you enter before you are ready. And during the waiting, something important begins under the surface. You question your fears instead of obeying them. You learn to sit with your own company instead of running from loneliness. You begin to see patterns that once ruled your choices. That change is quiet, but it is powerful. It may be the very thing that makes healthy love possible later. During these silent seasons, you build qualities most people never notice because they grow inside, not outside. A person who learns patience carries calm instead of panic. A person who faces loneliness without losing hope brings stability instead of neediness. A person who accepts imperfection brings honesty instead of pretending to be flawless. Silent protection is not about avoiding all pain. In fact, it often allows smaller pain now to prevent deeper suffering later. Think of building a house on weak ground. It may look beautiful for a while, but cracks will show because the base was never strong. Relationships work the same way. If two people come together before emotional stability exists, unresolved fear becomes the hidden foundation. Over time, insecurity begins to replace trust. Expectation replaces acceptance. Fear of loss overshadows real affection. What once looked like love slowly turns into emotional survival. Distance can prevent that. It gives each person time to strengthen their inner foundation before their lives fully join. During that unseen time, every lesson, every disappointment, and every moment of reflection helps shape a stronger identity. Instead of searching for someone to rescue them, each person slowly becomes able to offer patience, understanding, and emotional balance. What first felt like unfair separation can later reveal itself as a quiet act of care, protecting the chance for a healthier, more honest connection that could only appear after both hearts learned how to stand on their own. And this matters more than most people realize, because the real gift is not just meeting the right person. The real gift is becoming someone who can love without losing themselves in the process. Many people believe the greatest gift a soulmate gives is love itself. They picture long talks, shared plans, constant support, and a future made side by side. Those things matter, of course, but there is a deeper gift that often goes unseen. Before two people can truly build something healthy, each person has to meet themselves first. That journey is not easy. It asks you to face buried fears, old wounds, limiting beliefs, and the parts of your personality you spent years avoiding. In many cases, the strongest effect another person has on your life happens long before they fully arrive. Sometimes their role is not to save you with their presence, but to awaken the kind of growth that makes true love possible. This does not happen through secret messages or conscious effort. It happens because the human mind naturally moves toward wholeness when life brings the right challenges. Painful experiences often force honesty. A hard ending may show you how much your happiness depended on being chosen by others. A lonely season may reveal strengths that constant company never asked from you. Repeated disappointment may expose unhealthy patterns that shaped your relationships for years. While these moments feel heavy when you are inside them, they slowly build a stronger and more real sense of self. Healing is not just forgetting pain. It is changing the meaning of pain. It is learning to stop seeing yourself as someone defined by rejection, failure, or loss, and beginning to see that every experience added something to your becoming. Stay with me here because this next part is important. When wounds lose their power, you stop making choices from old pain and start responding from wisdom. And that changes every relationship that comes after. Instead of asking another person to fix your insecurity, you become able to share your life without handing them the burden of your unresolved struggles. In that sense, a soulmate becomes more like a catalyst than a rescuer. Their deepest gift is not carrying you. It is helping create the conditions where authentic love can exist. Personal growth also changes how you see the world. You stop measuring your worth by how many people admire you and start measuring it by how honestly you live. You become less interested in meeting everyone else's expectations and more committed to showing your true character. That shift creates a quiet peace no outside success can give. As self-understanding grows, relationships stop being a place where you beg to be completed and start becoming a place of shared growth. You begin to value differences instead of fearing them. You accept imperfection instead of demanding fantasy. You choose genuine connection over temporary excitement. The biggest transformation is often invisible because it unfolds through many small choices made over time. Every moment of self-reflection, every act of courage, every lesson learned through disappointment, every step toward a more honest life, all of it becomes part of the foundation on which lasting love can eventually stand. That foundation is not built on need, it is built on maturity, respect, and the ongoing work of becoming your fullest self. And once that foundation starts forming, something else begins to happen. The world itself can seem different. Ordinary moments suddenly feel charged with meaning. Coincidences stand out. Timing feels strange. Certain encounters leave a mark deeper than they should. And if you have ever experienced that, then you know exactly what I mean. It is not always magic, but it is not meaningless either. It may be the sign that your inner world is changing faster than you realize. There are periods in life when simple events seem to carry unusual weight. You look at the clock and keep seeing the same numbers. You think of someone, then hear their name moments later. A book appears with exactly the words you needed. A stranger says something that answers a silent question you have been carrying for weeks. These experiences feel too meaningful to call pure accident, yet too ordinary to prove anything dramatic. What gives them power is not just the event, but the feeling they awaken in you. The mind naturally searches for patterns, especially when you are in uncertainty or deep change. As your inner world shifts, your attention shifts too. You begin to notice connections you once ignored because your deeper mind is quietly organizing your experiences into a more meaningful story. These are often called meaningful coincidences, not because they predict your future, but because they show a growing harmony between your inner life and the world around you. The hidden mind is always processing more than your conscious mind can handle. It notices subtle details, emotional signals, memories and patterns without asking for attention. As these hidden processes unfold, they begin to influence what stands out to you. Suddenly, some conversations feel important. Some places feel oddly familiar. Some opportunities appear at the exact moment you are finally ready to recognize them. This can create the sense that life is guiding you towards something important. But instead of seeing these moments as supernatural proof, it may be more helpful to see them as signs that your emotional development is allowing you to notice meaning that was always there, waiting for your awareness to catch up. And when that happens, even ordinary life can feel full of direction, depth, and quiet purpose. As you grow, your perception becomes sharper. You begin making choices from self-awareness instead of fear. And that alone changes the people you meet, the places you go, and the chances you are willing to take. What looks like a strange coincidence is often the result of countless invisible shifts inside your own character. A person who grows in confidence notices possibilities that once felt impossible. A person who learns patience recognizes chances that once seemed too slow. A person who values truth naturally connects with people who respect honesty more than appearances. Meaningful moments often rise because your inner change quietly alters the direction of your life. The sense that things are lining up is not always about outside forces arranging every detail. Very often, it is about your growing ability to notice what supports your development. This is why these moments often appear during healing, reflection, or major transitions. They remind you to stay awake to your own growth instead of slipping back into old patterns. Every meaningful encounter, every timely opportunity, and every ordinary event that leaves an unusual mark becomes part of a larger journey toward wholeness. The value is not in proving that destiny controls every step. The value is in realizing that inner transformation changes the way you experience the world. And as your awareness expands, even simple moments can feel deeply significant. But here is where many people still get confused. They think meeting the right person will erase loneliness, remove confusion, and fill every empty place inside them. That belief sounds romantic, but it creates a burden no relationship can carry. Because no one, no matter how loving, can permanently fill the spaces created by a weak relationship with yourself. That is why preparation matters. That is why the time before union is not wasted. It may be the most necessary part of the whole story. One of the biggest misunderstandings about love is the belief that the right person will instantly fix what hurts inside you. Many spend years searching for someone who will finally make them feel complete, thinking happiness begins only when another person arrives. But that expectation puts impossible pressure on every relationship. Lasting love is not built by two broken people trying to repair each other. It is built by two individuals who have spent time learning who they are, facing their fears, and growing strong enough to share life without disappearing inside it. Preparation before union is the quiet process that makes this possible. It often feels lonely because its purpose is inward, not outward. During this season, life slowly removes the distractions that block real growth and replaces them with experiences that demand deeper self-awareness. Challenges become lessons in resilience. Failure becomes a teacher of humility. Solitude becomes an invitation to understand the thoughts and emotions usually hidden under noise and movement. These experiences may look unrelated to future love, but they quietly shape the qualities a meaningful partnership needs. A person who learns to value themselves does not need constant reassurance. Someone who has faced disappointment develops compassion instead of bitterness. Someone who has accepted their flaws becomes able to accept another person's flaws as well. This kind of preparation turns love from emotional hunger into a conscious choice. Instead of looking for someone to remove loneliness, you begin looking for someone with whom you can share a life already becoming full. And that changes everything, because when love is no longer a rescue mission, it becomes a meeting of strength, honesty, and peace, rather than fear, pressure, and emotional survival. Emotional maturity also changes the way conflict feels. Without inner work, small disagreements can wake up old fears of rejection, abandonment, or not being enough. Tiny misunderstandings turn into deep battles because hidden wounds shape every reaction. But when a person has spent time understanding those patterns, conflict becomes less threatening. They learn to communicate instead of defend, to listen instead of assume, to seek understanding instead of victory. These qualities cannot be borrowed from another person, and they do not appear in a single moment. They grow through patience, reflection, and repeated experiences that slowly reshape the personality. Preparation before union also changes what you find attractive. Surface beauty, fast excitement, and social approval begin to lose their power as deeper values become more important. Authenticity becomes more appealing than performance. Trust becomes more attractive than attention. Emotional safety becomes more valuable than dramatic intensity. This shift often surprises people because it happens so slowly they barely notice it, until one day they realize they are no longer drawn to the same kind of relationships. Their inner world has changed, and their understanding of love has changed with it. By the time two emotionally prepared people finally meet, much of the most important work has already happened inside them. The relationship becomes a continuation of growth, not an escape from pain. They can support each other without demanding perfection, encourage each other without control, build together without fear, eating the foundation. And that may be the quiet truth behind every delay you once hated. Maybe life was not keeping love from you. Maybe life was protecting love by preparing you first. Keep that in mind, because the way this ends matters just as much as the way it begins. As we come to the end of this reflection, remember this: the deepest secrets of love are rarely hidden inside dramatic moments. They are found in quiet change, unseen growth, and the silent lessons that shape who we become. If the person meant for you truly exists, the most extraordinary thing they may have been doing for you is not chasing you, not sending obvious signs every day, and not forcing their way into your life before time. Their greatest gift may have been helping begin a journey that brought you closer to your real self. Every challenge, every delay, every sudden ending, and every season of solitude may have been preparing you for a bond that could only thrive when both hearts were strong enough to meet as equals. The deepest relationships are not built on dependence. They are built on maturity. They are not held together by endless excitement alone, but by patience, understanding, and mutual respect. The more deeply you understand yourself, the more able you become to recognize real love when it finally appears. So instead of searching without end for someone to complete you, keep becoming the person you were always meant to be. When your inner world begins to reflect honesty, courage, wisdom, and self-acceptance, the connections you attract begin to mirror those same qualities. Maybe the real miracle is not simply that two souls meet. Maybe it is that both spend years without knowing it, preparing for a moment they could never truly value before they were ready. Trust your journey. Trust your growth. Trust that every meaningful experience has shaped you into someone capable of giving and receiving authentic love. What truly belongs in your life will never ask you to abandon your identity, your peace, or your growth. It will arrive as something that fits the person you have become, not something that demands you become someone else.